Now within 2XU, one of the main things that we have to keep in mind when we are training a new employee is they might be an expert, but they might not have the same background as you. Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now my goal is that after this video is to be able to walk you through the process of how do you actually train newer employees. Now if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I have been working remotely since I was 15 years old and now run my outsourcing company 2XU, and I post videos every Sunday on how to work from home and every Thursday on how to have an online career. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now in last week's video, I talked about how to onboard new employees remotely, like what to do basically once you have someone inside who said, yes, let's work together. You guys have gone through, like, create a contract maybe. And in this video, I'll be focusing on what to do next after that's done. Now within 2XU, one of the main things that we have to keep in mind when we are training a new employee is they might be an expert, but they might not have the same background as you. So that's the first step when it comes to training a new employee, is check where their skills are actually at. Now this is something that hopefully when you were hiring someone, you were already testing them on their skills. Again, if it's a graphic skill, maybe asking them to create a quote photo, or if it's a admin skill, checking in on their organization skills. So it could be a lot of different things, but you are again making sure that they actually know what they're doing. Now once they're actually in your company, you've onboarded them, the second thing that you want to do after actually testing out their skills, the second thing is now strategizing what their training would look like for them to be able to at least catch up with what you know. One of the things that we just assume when we're hiring new employees are like, oh, they got this, they'll figure this out, they'll know what to do, they'll research if they need to. That's actually a mistake, because you are creating more and more miscommunication between you and the new employee. So you want them to go through kind of almost the same training that you had to do, skipping the really bad ones. So you want to strategize, okay, what are the books or courses that I went through that helped me build my foundation? Then you can start leveling up your own employee. So for example, for us within 2XU, one of the first books that they'll be studying is the book Getting Things Done by David Allen, where it shows them the process that we follow when it comes to organizing tasks, how you think of projects. And then they also go through books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, so then they know how we communicate. And lastly, they go through the book The 1 Minute Manager, so they learn how to give feedback the way that we give feedback. So it's literally matching what it is that you've learned, again, minus the bad courses, minus the bad books, and then giving that to them so they know where to get started. Now, the third thing that you want to do to be able to train your new employees, right, is to make sure that you give them access to your standard operating procedures. Now, I already made a video on how to create standard operating procedures that you guys can check out, but basically teach them how you already do certain things within your business. The reason for this is, again, they might be certified, they might be the super expert, but they will have some assumptions that they will bring over from their past work. So you want to align yourself of like, okay, these are our expectations. These are the things that are not acceptable in our company. So it's literally training them in your company culture. So when you give them access to the documentation or the different procedures, or simply how you do your business, you are giving them that introduction of, again, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, and you're also showing them what is the current process that you do and maybe how they can improve on that. If you don't have any documentation at all, at least screen record yourself doing certain tasks or procedures within your company. So again, they can do that catch up to get to the same level of where you are at. Again, when you're onboarding a new employee, they will have assumptions from their older job that they'll bring over that they think it's okay. So you as the employer, you need to be the one saying that this is the line, this is where we're launched off of, and these are now all of the resources that you need to know more about the company. The next thing that you want to do is then give them access to those resources. You don't want to be the bottleneck for them to finish a book, for example, in one day, and they're not able to keep moving forward with their training because you weren't there to give them that. So as much as possible, when you're hiring someone new, is give them the resources that they need to keep moving forward. Next thing that you want to do is to set realistic goals before you even push them out into the world and have them start studying and learning at the same time, you want to set goals with them of what are the different things that are expected from them in the next couple of months. In the last video that I did, like I said, I talked about how to onboard. You want to map out like, okay, in the first month, it would be awesome if you mastered how to do this certain skill based on the previous experience they already have. And then in the second month, we're then going to start strategizing based on what you've learned, how to do this better, putting out forward into the future, what are the different things that you're hoping that they'll start, like different tasks or projects that they can start taking over with the training that they're doing. An essential part of these realistic goals is you are also setting expectations that just because you learned a certain skill within 2 weeks doesn't mean that they have to. They might have a different learning curve. So setting realistic goals also involve asking them what is their usual or their optimal way of learning certain things, of learning new things. So asking them this, asking them for their feedback, like, hey, what do you think of this? You are further given a better idea of how it is that your work relationship would look like. So again, try to make sure that it's realistic goals of what the next few months are going to look like, and setting your own expectations that, again, just because you learned this thing super fast doesn't mean that they would as well. Next thing is to have frequent check-ins. So what I mean by this is usually when someone is new inside of 2XU, then I set up like every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If they haven't communicated with me about their training, then I do a check-in with them of simply asking, hey, how are you? Is there anything that you need? So this is giving them the kind of the comfort space to be able to ask questions, to give suggestions based on the course that they went through. It's giving them that area of communication where they're able to just tell you if something was wrong, if something was missing, if something can be done better, especially as they have the freshest eyes going through your onboarding process and making sure that, again, they have what they need to just succeed, to just keep moving forward without having you as the bottleneck. Next is to make sure that you find small ways that you have them apply what it was that they just learned. So let's say that they learned all about social media marketing, then you ask them for a social media plan. So then that's a next level of training them, because from the course that they just learned, you are now giving them feedback of how it is that you expect them to do this the next time without having you kind of really coach them through. Keep in mind that you don't want to micromanage when it comes to the training part, especially if they're learning something new. You want to give them the chance to be able to grow to a certain point, and then you start going back and forth and giving them feedback. So again, they can skip all of your mistakes and get to the good part. So having them apply what they just learned is mostly just asking them really good questions about what they learned, how they think it could be applied into the work that they're doing, or again, like kind of like doing the social media content calendar test where you're just having them create a content calendar based on what they learned, so then you can see and give feedback of how far they've grown during that training. Next, and this is super important, is you want to celebrate and reward them whenever they do something more than what you've asked. So one of the most amazing experiences that I've had as a trainer and a coach is when I was onboarding someone who literally signed up for every single application, even though I didn't give them access to it, just because they wanted to learn how it works with it just being them. So they did more than what was asked rather than just go through the course on, for example, how to use Trello. They actually created their own board. They actually made it really pretty. They made it work for them. Then usually inside of our company, rewarded because again, they went over what was asked for, just going through the course and then actually applying it and playing around it so that they can learn how to actually do it. So whenever they do that, or even when they just finish the training and they pass like your assessment, you want to celebrate that and make sure that your employees know that being someone who has a growth mindset, being someone who is constantly growing, is something that you value. That way they will continue doing this, so then they will start just researching their own books, their own courses based on what it is that they need to keep moving forward in your business. Hopefully in the end you don't have to keep strategizing what their training is going to be like, and they will come up with like, hey, can I study this course? Can you grab me this course? Or can I read this book? They'll start picking up different things that they know will help them to get further in their career or with their skill. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit that a thumbs up button right there and comment below what is a course or a book that you know is essential for new employees of yours to study. And if you guys haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday on how to work from home, which you guys can check out the playlist right here, how to have an online business, which you guys can check out the playlist right here, and the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!